If you have followed my sim racing journey, you will know that there's one track that tends to yield quite good results for me, and that circuit is Imola. And in this video, I'm going to show you my first races at Imola on iRacing. But with the excitement of racing here, there was one question that did remain. Would my track knowledge of this circuit from other sims outweigh my inexperience with the iRacing GT4 class? Well, only one way to find out. Let's dive in. So here we are at the beautiful Imola circuit in the BMW M4 GT4. Now I'm going to be honest, I was a little bit rusty for these races in week 11 of season 3 2025. Mainly been out of the sim for a few weeks, dealing with some at-home duties at the end of the European school holidays. So I was really going to be focusing on my track knowledge here to try and get the most out of this little GT4, and for the most part, with a little bit of minimal practice, that was really working out for me. Coming down into the final corners here, turn 17 and 18 at Imola, trying to get a really good exit on to the front straight here on my qualifying lap for race number 1. And we're going to come across to set a very low 1 minute 52 second lap, not extremely far off the very top times here in this particular split, and good enough for a P6 on the line, ready for race number 1. Now this is the multi-class race, the 30-minute race sports car challenge. So we're going to be starting a little bit off the leaders here and just hoping to get a good jump away. Not entirely sure where the jump point is, and as a result I sort of miss it. The leader does jump away and I'm very slow out of the final corner here, and we are going to be swamped by the field as we come across the start finish line, officially getting the green light. But as you can see, 3 wide with a Mercedes on the outside, McLaren on the inside as we come down to turn number 1, and 3 wide behind as well. This could all go terribly wrong, but thankfully some very sensible drivers around me, and we are all going to make it through turn number 1 here. Up in front, 2 cars collect each other off onto the outside gravel trap there, and as we come through the opening sequence of corners, we find ourselves up into position number 4. Great little start there, and we're hoping to hold on to this for the opening lap. Coming out of turn 6 and down towards turn 7, a much better exit for the Mercedes behind, and he crosses down the inside. Really nice move from that driver, completely caught me off guard there, and he slips through, and with a wide exit out of the hairpin, we've got a BMW on our outside as we run up the hill here towards turn number 9. Very hard to defend around the outside of turn 9, so we ease off, try and squeeze in between those 2 BMWs and hold on here for position 6. So losing 2 positions there in that opening lap after a decent start, but still holding on to our P6 starting position. So not all bad here for the first race. 28 minutes and 45 seconds to go. So start of lap number 2, I'm going to have a very awkward moment here with the car 12. Very slow through the opening corner. We actually end up making contact from behind, and that puts me on the outside of turn number 4, which leaves me high and wide and allows 2 cars to pass me through that one. Now I believe car 12 was potentially actually trying to serve a slow down penalty through those corners. Really tricky place to do it, and very awkward for myself. Now up into the hairpin now following car number 4, more battling up in front, and car 4 actually finds himself very wide and left high and wide there out on the grass. A poor exit from him, and we get a run back towards turn number 9. Side by side, car 4 not happy with that move from the 12 in front, but it does allow us to slip up the inside at turn number 9 and reclaim a 7th place in this race. Now down towards turn number 12, holding on to that position and just now trying to find a rhythm in this race, losing positions, gaining them back. It's all been very tricky to get into a groove of this one. Turn 1 of lap number 3, and again 2 cars side by side through the opening sequence of corners, looking left and right but unable to really get a good run. Going to run a little bit defensive here down towards turn number 5 with the number 4 car directly
directly behind, and I go a little bit wide here at turn 6, going to make me a little bit vulnerable to the number 4 behind. We run a shallower line to the hairpin. He's trying to go around the outside. We take a little bit of a bump at the apex there, and that actually again pushes him wide out of the hairpin and allows car number 1 to come back up. He was involved in the first corner incident, so at a 6,000 I-rated driver, he's now making his way back up through the field. Now on to lap number 4, and again lots of action down here at turn number 1. I'm trying to go around the outside, think better of it, and car number 1 now goes around the outside out of turn number 4. So I'm always on the receiving end at the moment of these races, back down to position number 8. Coming through turn number 6 now on this lap, and still car number 4 right there behind, looking very dangerous, but fortunately we are not able to hold off him for this particular lap. And now just trying to settle into a groove. We're now 23 minutes of this race still to go, and I haven't really been able to set a nice tidy lap with lots of action going around. Up into turn number 9, and car number 1 sort of lunges for a door that was half left open. Contact there with car number 24, and that is going to allow us to jump back up to position number 7. So again, up and down the positions here. Car 1 running wide on the exit of turn 12 now. A bit of a run here on him, but I don't actually want to pass this car. I know he's going to be much faster than me. Don't want to keep losing time battling with silly battles. And out of the chicane here, he just launches it wide, gets on out of there, and that allows us to all get on with our races here, coming to the end of lap number 4. Now we did finally get an entire lap of clear running here as we come towards end of lap number 5. Up ahead, a bit more battling there between cars 1 and 12. I ran a little bit deep out of the final corner here with car 4 getting a much better exit. And we're going to have to think about how to deal with this one down the front straight. Now I was finally on a decent lap. I did a 51.5 on this particular lap, my fastest of the race session, and car 4 simply just had a bit more pace. So we lifted the throttle and we've allowed him through to not lose any more time into turn 1, because behind is the car number 5 McLaren, another quick driver making his way back up through the field after that lap 1 incident, and I wasn't prepared to let him get into this battle so quickly. However, we come through turns 5 and 6, and I once again run a bit wide here, not a great exit, and now that McLaren is all over the rear bumper and he dives it down to the apex here at the hairpin, I have to turn away to avoid contact, and we exit the hairpin. He's on the inside for the upcoming turn 9, and I am stuck once again on the outside of that turn. Not a place you can defend from, and we have to lift here. A little bit frustrated. We actually give him a little bit of a tap, a little bit of a hurry up as we exit turn number 9. And once again, for what feels like the 3rd time in this race, we are back down to position number 8, 19 minutes to go. Now at the halfway point, the LMP3 field was making its way through here to lap us, and that was going to cause a little bit more drama. For the most part, the LMP3s in this race were quite respectful. Imola is a very hard place to pass at, and they were being nice and patient for the most part with where those overtakes were happening. But it was always going to cause a bit of drama. As you see, the 3rd place car there holding up car 4 as he made his way through turn number 17. That allowed 12 up the inside, but awkward contact in the final corner spins car number 12, and that is going to bring us up from 8th place to position number 7. And that is the nature of multi-class racing. It can sometimes just work out in your favour. Now 12 minutes to go with those LMP3 cars out of the way. I found myself in a pretty decent groove here with some half decent pace versus the cars around us. You see cars 4 and 5 now directly ahead. My pace was a little bit better than theirs at this point, and there's a couple of cars directly behind as well. So we found ourselves in quite a nice little battle pack here. Everyone driving quite well, and it was really fun to be driving so close to a range of drivers here. This being a morning race on a Friday, and this is one of the best things about iRacing, having these sorts of fields. This is a multi-split event. We're in the top split here, but 26 cars on track super early in the morning. You don't really get this on other sims. Now as we come around the final corner here on lap number 10, the other thing that I was needing to pay a little bit of attention to was my incident points. We were up to 9x on this race so far with 10 minutes still to go. Quite easy to pick up the off tracks around Imola. I certainly didn't want that number to get any higher any quicker. Now eyes forward on lap number 11 to turn 1. The McLaren car 5 tries to dive it up the inside into turn 1. Very ambitious move, and to be a lot more up the inside there to really get given some space in that corner, and unfortunately that turns around car number 4 and it does bring us up to position number 6. Now with that number 4 car out of the way, number 5 was starting to show a bit more of its true pace, pulling out a few seconds here over the coming laps, and that meant that I was in a battle here to maintain this P6 position from cars behind me. Now, knowing Imola rather well, I was confident that I would be able to be good enough in the right places, and obviously the lap traffic here, the LMP3 class coming around to lap us once more, was giving a bit of give and take here as we got to the final laps. Fortunately, as we got into some of the final laps, I was able to maintain a decent enough margin to not be truly under pressure, and in fact on the last lap here actually getting ourselves up towards positions 4 and 5. Position number 4, the Mercedes there, was needing to defend very hard from the car 5 McLaren. You see almost another ambitious move from that McLaren into the final corners. Not able to get up into that battle, but good enough to hold off the BMW behind and come across to finish things off where we started in position number 6, and a solid result from me in a 17 car field. Very happy with that 30-minute race here at Imola. Now fortunately I did have time for one more race at Imola, so here we are in the fixed category, 15 minutes, 25 cars on track, and after messing up my second qualifying run, we are starting out of position 14. Once again we missed the jump for the line by a tiny bit, but fortunately, unlike the first race, we're not going to be swarmed by cars heading down towards turn number 1. Going side by side a little bit with this car 16 beside me here on the start. We're going to be a little bit wide here at turn number 1, trying to hold it around the outside and then deal with the silver Mercedes behind. But fortunately, a decent enough exit, everyone playing a good game here, and in fact the entire field gets through these opening corners without any contact. I'm holding on to position 14. I'm going to have to just settle into this race and see what sort of unfolds to see if I can't make my way up into the top 10. Down to the hairpin on this lap. Once again, we're not seeing any contact, no incidents, and that's making it a very tight field coming up towards turn number 9 for the second part of this opening lap. Plenty of time still for things to go wrong coming out and through turn 9 here, and things were definitely about to kick off down towards turns 11 and 12. Always a tricky part of the circuit, and there's tyre smoke up in front, a Porsche off to the outside, and then in front, directly in front almost, the gold Mercedes, not really picking the slowdown effect of the field through that turn on the opening lap, collecting the BMW in front. Now up to the chicane, being nice and delicate, going down to second, slowing down a bit more, and there's actually a bit of chaos behind in the mirror, a rejoining car directly behind me who wasn't in front before, and so plenty of action to actually show on the replay here. Coming down towards turn 11, it's actually the car in second place, the car number 3 Porsche there, a little bit fast into turn 11, and he goes wide, and then this car 11 here just completely misses the slowdown of the field and takes out that BMW in front. Up towards the chicane, it's cars 3 and 11 featuring once again. Too many cars trying to get around the chicane, and car 11 actually gets spun for the second time, losing all the way to the back of the field. Fortunately, we miss all of that drama, and it puts us up into position number 11. Although we are going to get an opportunity here with the car number 19 Mercedes there, left high and wide by car 16 in the final corner. And that's going to go side by side down this front straight here, and just hoping to get a nice braking point into turn 1. Haven't broke this early on the inside in a GT4 yet, so we're going to pick A nice conservative brake marker here with a nose in front, and once again, nice driving by everyone here. Car 19 backs out of it, allowing us to get through here without any contact. And with that move, we do find ourselves up into position number 10. Now later on that lap, more drama up in front here. A Porsche spun at the second apex of the chicane, slowing down enough to avoid contact, and that's going to move us up once again one more position, now up to position number 9 in just the opening few laps. Lots of chaos that has unfolded. We've been very fortunate to miss all of it as we come down towards the final corners. Now up in front, the McLaren, he's run very wide there into the final corner. Behind, some more drama involving car number 3 Porsche once again, but all eyes forward as we get a run up the inside of this McLaren, the car number 20, and just like the lap previous, we are now side by side on the run down to turn number 1. More of a car in front, and in fact as we approach the kink here towards the braking zone, we actually have cleared that McLaren, holding still a defensive line to make sure we don't have any silly contact, but we are able to squeeze on through up to position number 8. Pretty happy considering no car contact, only 1 incident point so far. A good opening spell to this race. Now up 5 minutes of this race still to go, and behind the danger man, car number 3 has finally made his way up to me. He's going to flash the lights here as we come down towards turn number 5, and I wasn't going to let that put me off trying to defend him. Coming out of turn 6, I don't quite get as good of an exit, and we do move to cover the inside, but I haven't covered it enough, and there is enough of a gap there for him to try and squeeze the nose in. I've turned away at the last moment to avoid any contact, and ultimately that has turned out to be the right decision. As we've seen in the replays, he has been very aggressive, and what I saw on the next lap with the car 16 Mercedes up in front truly confirmed that. He's gone right up the inside. Some questionable defending from car 16 in that process, but car number 3 was not going to be slowing down for anyone, and for probably the 3rd time this race he has turned around another driver. So I was fortunate myself to not actually get involved with that driver at all and not pick up an incident myself. Coming down to the final corner here, and I have to be looking eyes back because we've moved back up to position number 8, but it might not be for long. Behind we have car number 5, and with not a great exit out of the final corner, that's going to put him right into the slipstream here as we come down towards the start finish line with only a couple of minutes left, a couple of laps still to go in this race. He's got a really nice run here, kind of think about defending it, but then ultimately think better off it. 4x, considering the incident points I picked up in the last race, I was quite hopeful to get a safety rating gain in this one, and I didn't really want to fight it out here. Still going to be holding on to 9th position at this point as we enter the very final lap, and I was quite happy to come away with a top 10, avoiding all of the chaos. Only 4 incident points would actually be a pretty solid result, and I was quite happy to walk away with that one. Now coming through turn 12 here on this very final lap, trying my best to follow this better driver in front, coming down to the final corners here, and I'd have to say that for the limited time I had to actually do a couple of races here at Imola in the GT4, I was very happy with the outcome. Safe to say that some track knowledge from other sims really helped me in these ones, picking up a couple of top 10s in Split 1. Certainly happy with that work. Better results than Silverstone, some good learnings here, and quite happy, as I said, with those final results.
So there we are, a couple of strong finishes at Imola on iRacing. And yes, absolutely, the track knowledge that I've had from other sims at this circuit has certainly helped me in these little GT4 cars here this week. Now, those strong finishes definitely helped the iRating number, but the up and down of those in terms of safety rating has kind of left me exactly where I was at the start of the week. It was unfortunate to not be able to do more racing here at Imola, as I certainly felt like it would have been a good week for me overall, even on the safety rating side. But of course, this being week 11, moves us on to a crucial week 12 where we need to hold on to a safety rating number that will allow us to be promoted to B class for the up upcoming season. Now I do want to say a big thank you to everyone who commented under my last GT4 race video. There was a lot of very helpful comments, and I'm certainly trying to apply some of those in these races. Of course, in those weeks we have heard that GT4 is going to have quite a big overhaul, and as I record this, I've seen some of those previews already. As a result, I'm quite looking forward to the challenge these cars will bring next season, alongside hopefully the GT3s as well. As I said, if you want to see any of those upcoming videos, please consider subscribing. If you liked this video, then give it a big thumbs up, and I look forward to bringing you some more races soon. Race hard, stay positive. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.